Don't tell me that aliens don't exist, bitches, when it looks like they live on the television. The footage we have here is incredible. This is from the 2011 APAC conference. We've got all sorts of alien footage to cover. And I don't want to hear about Project Bluebeam. I don't want to hear about the UFO disinformation that the deep state puts out there, because of course they're going to put out disinformation. We're going to tell you how these people operate. We're going to tell you what's going on. Look at Raptor Man here. It's incredible. Now, this footage has been scrubbed from the official record. You can't find this in the 2011 APAC footage anymore. It's gone, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the 2011 APAC conference. Notice Obama's tie, because in the 2012 APAC conference, they tried to cover it up with the same tie. Look at the dates. 2012. This is from the Obama White House. Check it out. 2011. The Obama White House. And they don't want you to know about this footage. They've scrubbed it. If you watch these videos, it begins right after the introduction. So what happened? Ladies and gentlemen, we've got all of the footage. But this is the 2012. It's like a mirror image. It's like a clone. They try to cover it up, and they try to bring in some... There he is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The alien. But they're all like that. It's not just the Holy Land. They're all like that in every country, every head of state, as far as we can tell. They've all been replaced. They've all been taken over by this alien force. And in 2012, we see this footage of what looks like some kind of alien at the conference. And perhaps they're stagecrafting this to make it look like these aliens don't exist. But it sure looks like they exist, ladies and gentlemen. And we've been following this for quite some time. We want to tell you how these people operate. And they don't just communicate with radios and cell phones. They communicate telepathically. They know pretty much instantly when there's a problem. Let's come back to this footage, if we can. Pay attention. Now, as the alien begins to morph, Obama nudges him away immediately. They know immediately there's a problem with their technology. Now, we've seen this in other circumstances. We're going to play a clip from when Hillary Clinton collapsed in 2016. Pay attention to the Secret Service filling in the gaps, knowing where there's a problem instantly. The speed at which these aliens compensate is like nothing else we've ever seen. Pay attention to this.
Tumbling down the rabbit hole.
Oh, the video guys on vacation.
In with the breaking news about Hillary Clinton's death.
The New World Order.
Those are the roots of trouble.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole? Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So you see how the Secret Service agent fills in the gap for the camera so that you can't even see what's going on as they're chucking her into the meat wagon. Of course, they announced her death on ABC7, and then she comes out of the clone clinic. But pay attention here as they're about to chuck her in. We've got this angle. Now they know there's a problem, and so they come in and block that angle. This is how these people operate. They're quick. They're effective. They're efficient. That's the problem with this enemy. It's as if they can tell the future and it comes back to them. Oh, this video is going to go online. This is the angle that we need to cover. And so they do. Otherwise, we would see even more footage of what happened. Let us not digress to the 2016 elections, but all of these people working for the Secret Service are undoubtedly aliens as well. Much of the government has been co-opted. World government has been co-opted. Now, we're going to take you back to the early 2000s with some footage of aliens morphing on live television. Check this out.
Doctor to assess certain celebrities' risk factors and make her analysis. For example, she says, it appears Britney is suffering from a major psychological disorder and that it might actually be bipolar. Could be that. The doc then predicts how much longer they'll live. Sick, I know, but I also know you want to hear what she has to say. The doc says if these people don't get help or straighten up fast, I haven't pre-read any of this. Britney won't make it to the age 30, Lindsay won't see 25, and Michael Jackson has no more than 5 years left. At the other end, Angelina's going to have a long, healthy life, and so will George Bush and Nicole Richie.
If you're not already bipolar,
I hear yelling in the booth. Are they yelling at me for the way I read that?
You did great.
Okay.
But if you're not,
wait, excuse me, both.
I could hear Lisa yelling.
Give her a break. She didn't read it earlier. She doesn't know the story. It's okay. Just stop it. She's okay.
I could hear you.
Yeah.
I heard you.
but if you
So they're yelling at her not because she's not reading it right. They're yelling at her because she's morphing on screen. And of course, when this happens, usually another anchor tries to jump in so that they can shift the perspective. And then they correct the issue. We've seen this
to assess
time
certain
and time
celebrities'
again.
risk.
Now, we've noticed that there's quite a bit of footage like this from Los Angeles. There must have been somebody at some time interfering with these broadcasts, interfering with their cloaking technology, but you can see them slowly morph. We have numerous examples of this. Let's see if we can get to our next example. But on this particular episode, interview, you can see them freaking out. You can hear them freaking out in the control room. We can see you do something.
And you guys have never played together before.
No.
So you guys still get starstruck then after everything that you've been through.
Oh, yeah.
And where you guys just came from New Orleans, right?
Well, we were there a few months ago.
Uh-huh.
We finished a tour up at the House of Blues in New Orleans, so that was great because that's my adopted home city because I lived there for almost 10 years in the 90s.
We were actually in Vegas over the weekend playing at
Now pay attention to the guy that walks in the background. Pay attention to the background. There's nothing else that's getting distorted except for these two individuals.
And you guys have never played together before.
No.
So you guys still get starstruck then after everything that you've been through.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there's definitely an issue. We're going to show you more examples of this particular phenom. Here's another guy. Looks like the same studio. And he begins to morph as well. So a lot of these aliens must be clustered in California, in LA. And we were talking about these deep underwater bases that show up on Google Maps just a couple of days ago, and you could see what looks like underground cities off the coast of California, off the coast of South America, and Australia as well. Now pay attention to this guy. You'll see that his hands are just fine in this particular. Here we go. So his hands aren't morphing, but his face is morphing. His clothes aren't morphing, really, but his face is morphing. The background isn't morphing, but his face is morphing. And he looks like a different type of species than the reptilian raptor man that we saw in the opening scene. What is this guy? We don't really know. But it doesn't look like they're from planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like they live on the television. Let's see if we've got another example. Of course we do.
About Honest Story and what I've learned in Latin America.
Yeah. Now,
What did you learn?
Well, I met with my job. I worked for UNICEF, which is an amazing organization that works in over 150 countries. And my job was to meet with teenagers who were living in exclusion, who were living in extreme poverty or living with HIV, and write their stories, listen to their stories and write them for UNICEF. And so, I mean, I obviously learned so much from these kids. I learned from Anna in particular, who has lived an extremely difficult life. I learned to live each day to its fullest.
Excuse me, Jenny. There's a word you used earlier in the interview about exclusion. Can you explain what that is?
Well, a lot of the kids I met, I mean, exclusion is a broad term, obviously, but the kids I met were living in extreme poverty. They didn't have access to medical care or education, schooling. They were living with HIV, and so they were living outside of society's embrace.
I think doing any kind of missionary work, I think really changes a person. And you and your sister had a little bit, I mean, you guys weren't Paris Hilton, but you had a little bit of a reputation as party girls. Do you think this changed you?
Well, no, I mean, I think people had that image of us because they didn't know really what we were up to because we wanted to keep private. But of course, you know, so it didn't change my personality necessarily. But I taught for 2 years after the University of Texas after graduating, and then went on to Latin America. And you know, of course, I've grown up. It's been 7 years since people had that image of me. But yeah, I mean, listening to their stories was incredible. And
Jenna, when you see this, when you not only listen to their stories, but you get involved and you write about it as well, does it change how you look, you're thinking about how government should run in the United States and elsewhere to help?
Does it change the way you look? As you can see, they were having some difficulties with the cloaking technology here. Was there some kind of interference? Was somebody hacking the broadcast? We don't know, but it definitely looks like they live. And of course, the anchor basically tries to jump in and reset the situation or distract away from what's going on so that they can reset the situation, but it seems to come back. It almost seems like there's a human resistance trying to let us know that there's something going on. But here we see what this creature looks like. It's almost like some kind of tiger or some kind of puma. But this essentially would be the face of this alien species. So we don't really understand what it is, who they are, what they're doing here. But it seems like they've monopolized the entire system to their favor. Now, we also know that, let's see if we can, there we go, video guy. We also know that they're working on UFO disinformation, whether it be Project Bluebeam or man-made looking UFOs, to make people think that there are no aliens. And essentially, if it was like they live out there, if aliens were in control, what kind of disinformation programs would you put out there to dissuade the public into thinking that aliens were in control? You would obviously put out footage of real cheesy drones and perhaps leak information about Project Bluebeam in an Operation Mockingbird type of scenario to make people think that, oh, the aliens are fake. There's no such thing as aliens, ladies and gentlemen. But if there's no such thing as aliens, then someone is going to have to explain Raptor Man here. Look at those teeth. Just morphing before our very eyes. And then they try to bury the evidence. You can't find the original video of this clip to debunk it. They've completely eliminated it. To the point where they try and stage the 2012 APAC conference to look like the 2011. Same tie, same outfit. So how would you know? And you would think that if it was fake, that footage would still be there so that we could look at it. But it's not on the APAC website, it's not on their YouTube, it's not at the Obama White House YouTube channel. It's gone. So it must be they live out there. There must be aliens in control trying to exterminate humanity. Now, many people want to talk about demons and the like. Many people think that aliens are demons. Have you heard that before? And undoubtedly, aliens are satanic in nature. Pure dark side. But are they demons, if you will? There are many different types of aliens and many different types of morphologies when it comes to the strange and the unusual. Let us give you a few examples of that, if we can. I suppose this is not the video, although this guy is definitely strange and unusual. Definitely an alien morphing on live television, but a different type of morphology. Let's see if we can show you what we mean here. Ah, the video guy is on vacation. Here they are trying to inject everyone with their death vax. Now here's a strange morphology. Check out her neck. It's like the movie Aliens right in her throat. There's something going on there. But all of these people on TV are definitely strange, to to say the least. They live. But this is some footage of what you could classify as demonic activity. They're like phantoms, not of this world. And you hear a lot of talk about aliens being interdimensional creatures, that they communicate telepathically with people on Earth, would-be collaborators, if you will. But essentially, while it's impossible to disprove the fact that aliens are in some other dimension, some other universe, communicating, penetrating, trespassing into this universe through telekinetic means, it could also be some kind of psychological warfare, making us think that they're not here, but in fact they are. We don't really know, but we just can't rule it out. Here's another example of demonic activity. It's like Ghostbusters. Essentially, that is the nature of the demon. They're like people without bodies entering into other people. And demonic activity is more like ghosts than anything else. Phantoms. Faces in the clouds. Faces in the fire. Faces in the smoke. But they're real in the sense that they take over. They take people over. They body snatch people. They feed off of people like parasites. And they leave their mark. These people look demonic because they've been taken over by demons. But that may be quite different than the alien races themselves. Here's another look at the demonically possessed. They've got the morphology of a devil. You can see the devil horns on all of these people. They've been taken over by devils, another class of aliens. And so, when it comes to the debate, are they aliens or are they demons and the like, there is a wide range of species out there. It's impossible to say what these things are, really, scientifically speaking, but they're not human. Of course, they're not human as they attempt to exterminate the human race, as they massacre the unborn and tell you to wear masks for your safety. Obviously, these people are not human. Here's another example of what appears to be some kind of alien on television. Well, looks like we're going to have to play that again. Here we go. Pay attention to the tongue. And it seems like it realizes that it just did that on live television. So there are numerous examples of what might be human and what might be alien. Let us not forget the human collaborator, perhaps the clone that has been replaced. And it looks like people are being updated. They're rebooting. And it's just another example of the Twilight Zone that we live in. But there are human collaborators everywhere, entire towns that have been taken over, entire cities that have been taken over, people replaced at the speed of light, essentially, by some sort of transporter technology, replaced by clones. And of course, the clone must think it's real, must think it's human. It's only the people that it's only the people that know that clones and clone technology exists that might be exempt from being cloned, because then you would ask yourself the question, am I still real? And you would start challenging yourself. But for the people that have absolutely no notion of clones existing, those people have probably already been replaced. And it's probably why only the most paranoid people out there are still human. The ones that haven't put themselves in a position to be cloned and replaced. But as far as we can tell, most of the people out there are no longer human. And we're not just saying that. And so if you are human out there, if you feel like you're human still, be careful. Because a one-night stand might lead to an injection and being swapped out for a clone or something worse. So be careful out there. And of course, we are fighting pure evil. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood. We're fighting against spiritual wickedness from heavenly places, from places that are not of this world. Obviously, these people are not of this world. But don't think it's just some of the people on TV. Don't just think it's people from one country or another. As far as we can tell, this is a global issue. This is happening worldwide. And in the major cities, they've all been replaced, for the most part. All of the people on television have been replaced. They're no longer who we think they are. These people are not human. And this is why the COVID and the like will continue. It's not going to ever go back to normal. They're going to keep coming out with new variants. They're going to keep locking you down. They're going to keep demanding that you take the injection. They're on an extermination program. This is about a takeover. You've heard of the Great Replacement. It's not about black people replacing white people. It's about aliens replacing humans on planet Earth. They like this planet. They want to take it over. And so that's why it's important that people act appropriately when it comes to what's going on out there. It's a war. There's not a whole lot of room to be friendly or civil when it comes to these people, even though we still have this illusion of law and order. If you step out of line, here comes the FBI in real time to take you off to some kind of prison camp. But whatever's left of humanity is going to have to rise up against this hostile takeover, because that's exactly what it is. We're not fighting against greedy people from some new world order or some kind of cult like the Illuminati. That's just a front. That's just a cover story. This is an alien invasion. It might as well be the movie Independence Day. And the question is, what are people going to do to survive? And at this stage, it should be absolutely everything. If humanity is going to survive, everything has to be on the table. And it should start with the puppets on television, but it definitely needs to extend to the street level, and we need to figure out who's human and who's not out there. All of these people wearing 2 masks, trying to inject you with their death vax, they're probably not human. Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell them by their fruits. And you can tell them by their morphology. If they look like a troll, if they look like a witch, if they look like some kind of transvestite or something, chances are they're not human. Chances are they've been body snatched, they've been taken over by the demonic. And there's only one sure way of taking this planet back, and that is eliminating all hostile forces. Undoubtedly, these aliens and the like can infect you with their disease. We'll have to leave it there for this broadcast. Be sure to check us out on Telegram, Stranger Than Fiction News, on BitChute, Alien.Wars. Otherwise, we're mirroring this content on Fakebook and Rumble and the like as STFN Reloaded. But this is a war against spiritual wickedness, against evil forces, against aliens. They're all in it together like a bunch of Charlie Manson groupies. Don't get hung up on too many specifics as far as, are aliens demons and the like. It looks like there's a wide variety of species out there. But we've definitely got aliens, we've got demons, and we've got the human collaborators, the clones, and the like. Be sure to support our broadcast at patreon.com/STF News. Send us $5 a month so that we can continue to update you on the current events. Till the next time, if you're listening to this, you are the Resistance.